Spiritually Inspired is a sacred space for all people to explore issues of shared concern. Listen to consciously aligned guests and search for spiritual inspiration. Podcast hosts Ranee Siri and Jayson Barniski, yoga teachers and authors, explore and find inspiration on the path to enlightenment.
Hi, welcome to our podcast, Spiritually Inspired. This is Ranee Siri.
And this is Jayson Barniski. Today we're excited. We have a special podcast. It's just Ranee and I today. No amazing guest other than ourselves. But it is a very amazing topic. So the topic today is...
It's the art of self-love.
Thank you, Ranee. Thank you for teaching me all about how to love myself more.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And the reason this is such a special topic to me, so near and dear to my heart, I guess I got to start off with another one of my famous stories. I'm a very big storyteller, if you haven't already heard in our previous podcasts. But so this story starts off as like, I love my yoga practice, my physical yoga asana practice. I have very deep, intense, hardcore Ashtanga yoga practice. Pictures of me online if you haven't seen them already. Doing very crazy leg behind the head, intense yoga postures. And at one point in my life, like a few months ago, I started using the practice to beat myself up. There were some things that I felt guilty about, or some things that I felt shame over. And I started using, of all things, my spiritual practice to beat myself up. And that was really crazy. I don't even know how that happened, how that worked out. And Ranee saw this tendency in me. And she's like, whoa, slow down a minute. Like, this practice is all about loving yourself more, not about beating yourself up. And so she asked me a really interesting question. What kind of water do you drink? Wow. And she actually made some very tangible steps. All along my yogic journey and this internal path within, all my teachers have said, be compassionate to yourself. And that's how to make it easier. You know, I asked Yogi Ji, I put something on social media about it. I asked Yogi Ji, when I first came to him, he said, what do you want to learn from me, from studying from me? And I said, I want to learn how to love the whole world. And it was a very utopian idea. And he looked at me and he laughed and he said, you don't even know how to love yourself. And so, yeah, I kind of started learning, but Ranee actually put it into some physical steps, some actual steps on how to love myself. And she talked with me about this, and I reset my focus. I reset my intention on loving myself more deeply. And literally overnight, my practice changed. It changed from one of masochism and beating myself up to one of how to love myself. And not only did my physical practice deepen, but my mental and emotional, my spiritual practice really flowered. So I'm going to open it up for Ranee, and she's going to explain a little bit about self-love and a little bit how to love ourselves more deeply.
Yeah, so in this society these days, most people are having a hard time loving themselves than finding someone else to love them. And that's because we want to please others. We get up and we tend to take care of everyone else first. You know, I got to take care of my boyfriend, my husband, and my kids. But what they're missing is that they don't take care of their own selves first thing. And it makes it harder for them to feel good about themselves, to be able to express love for others around them if they don't have that, you know, the prana, the energy that they're creating within themselves first. So I very, very pay attention to what I do first thing when I get up. I have to like take care of me first. I don't really look at my phone or my computer. I have to really get on my practice. I do my meditation. I take care of myself. I eat a little something. I go run. I do my Kundalini practice. And self-care is the number one thing that we all tend to miss. But it's the number one thing that is so important, right? So how to cultivate that self-care is through meditation. In my opinion, through meditation, because you get to slow your mind down, and therefore you can really have time to do the self-reflection and get to know your inner self. Get to dig deep within yourself and what your needs are, and to be honest of what your wounds and your scars or your emotional baggages are within yourself, and having to really look deep into yourself, that's really hard.
So that's like even a good segue for us to talk about triggers.
Yeah. In relationships especially, we tend to have triggers.
So Ronnie and I trigger each other.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, I was going to say all the time. No. Sometimes. And it's important you don't trigger each other all the time, because then it kills the romance and romance is dead. But triggers do happen. And it's important to use the triggers to grow.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It is huge.
And so, it's a blessing to have another person in a relationship to give you a trigger. For instance, this afternoon. And I don't want to get too personal in our triggers, but I did something or said something that triggered you, and then I asked, where does that come from? And it's interesting to have to dig deep in ourselves, in our own past, and see where it comes up, and recognize that trigger is not something the other person said, but it's something usually from our past that we haven't totally worked out and have to deal with.
Yeah.
And by being open to dig deep and to go through some of that muckiness stuck in the soul.
It is hard.
And it's also a self-love practice.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't love yourself, you wouldn't do it. And then by freeing yourself of that clutter, then you're so much more free to experience the other person, to experience yourself, to enjoy your reality.
Yeah.
As it truly is.
It's a practice of forgive and forget, because when you forget, you heal. And when you let go of things, you grow. So if you can dig deep within yourself and see what kind of baggages you've been holding on to, you're going to be able to grow from it once you find that and have the intention to really deal with it. And other thing is that nourish your body. When you notice that you feel uncomfortable in some way, I automatically would, maybe find really good food to nourish my body, because sometimes when your body doesn't feel good, it really affects your mind.
Very much.
Very much,
and I also think it's important to listen to our cravings.
Yeah.
So like sometimes if you're craving an apple, or sometimes if you're craving chocolate, maybe you need something that's in that chocolate. There's a lot of antioxidants. There's a lot of good stuff for you in chocolate. Or whatever it is to listen to your cravings. Not necessarily the cravings of your mind, but the cravings of your body and the requirements of your body.
What your body needs, it's very important. You can do all kinds of therapy or energy healing, massage, do mind-body programs. There's tons of ways that you can really nourish your body. Once the body feels good, I think it's easy to work on the mind. So not that you would just like spoil yourself and go eat the whole bags of
and
chocolates.
Ronnie's telling me this as I just closed up the box of nuts, because I'm snacking on nuts as we're saying this, but I did close it.
Yeah, but if you need it at that moment, just, listen to your body. And meditation, I can't say enough that meditation is like the key to be able to get in there, get inside and listen to what your body needs.
9 out of 10 questions that I would ask Yogi G, I'd be like, what about this or that? Or 9 out of 10 questions he would answer with meditation.
Yeah.
That's such a great quote.
So you have like 5 things that you came up with the other day about loving yourself.
I think we both came up with them the other day.
Oh, okay, sure.
So maybe we'll each read one each. So these are like 5 ways or it's a method of 5 steps to love ourselves more deeply. So number one, the first most important one, opens the door for all others, is slow down.
Slow down, pause. Pause and breathe, right?
And that takes us into number two.
Yeah. And so you have a workshop last weekend that you asked everyone about what they can do.
Oh yeah, well, slow down. So I taught a workshop in El Centro, my hometown, and at the end of the workshop, I asked everyone, give me one thing you can do to love yourself more deeply. And everyone went around the room. Spend time with my family. Wash my feet every night before I go to sleep. Walk my dog more. Eat healthier. And everyone gave some really beautiful things. And I really asked that for myself. But what I realized is as everyone said these 10 or 15 different ways to love themselves more deeply, the one thing they needed to do to spend more time with their family or to really actually do that self-love practice, number one was to slow down.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So number one is slow down. What's number two?
Number two is take deeper breaths. Pranayama practice. Or just deep breaths.
Deep breaths.
Yeah.
In the ancient yogic texts, they say we're all born with a certain number of breaths per lifetime. I mean, you could calculate it out. If you take 4 breaths per minute.
Is that true?
Absolutely. You could calculate it out. If I had my phone, I'd get the calculator. But let's say you take 4 breaths per minute. How many minutes times 60 per hour? Times 24 per day? Times 365, and then if you live 100-year lifespan, 80-year lifespan times 80. And I think we actually did this when we were with your teacher last time, and I looked online, and it's something like 8 billion, so many breaths per lifetime. And they say in the ancient scriptures that each person has an exact number of breaths per lifetime. By taking deeper breaths or through a deep breathing practice like pranayama, you lengthen your breath and in turn lengthen your lifespan. Now, I personally don't believe that there's some book up in the sky that St. Michael is writing down how many breaths we have, but I do believe that the longer and deeper breaths we take, the more tuned in we get to our parasympathetic nervous system, the more relaxed we are, and I believe the more relaxed life we live, the more relaxed lifestyle we have, the longer our lives tend to be. So,
and that tied up with the next one, which is talk less and listen more, because when you talk more and fast, you take a lot of breaths, right?
And you guys are not here, but Ronnie's looking at me directly. As she said this. I'm one to talk more, but that's a big practice of mine that I really need to do. And so I used to, for about a year, every Friday to Saturday night, 24 hours of no speaking. And pretty soon, she and I are both going to do 10 days of Vipassana. So 10 days of silence, no talking for 10 days straight.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it's so refreshing. The muscles on your face relax, but also our mind
relaxes,
and we begin to analyze more the things we say before we say them. And so I was reading in my book, but I talk about that. Some people have I call oral diarrhea, is they say so much they're literally
unconscious of what they
going out of their
saying.
mouth. Yeah. So by talking less, and Darren Beckett told me, is a real leader is not someone who says a lot, but they wait for the right moment. They slip in and say a few words and then slip right back out. So it's more about timing and the quality of what we say than the amount of things we say.
Yeah.
So number 4 is
be more compassionate to yourself and others. So practice kindness and compassion.
Right. How can you never be cut off again on the freeway? I don't know if any of you guys saw my video on Facebook that I just wrote about fifth dimension. But how can you never be cut off on the freeway? Again, let everyone else go first.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that it's beautiful, but to be kind is so empowering because when we're kind, instead of all those people cutting us off, flipping us off, giving us the middle finger, all those people are thanking you. So if I had to drive down to Mission Valley and drive back up here to North County, San Diego, and I let 5 people go in front of me, I may get here 2 minutes later. But I had 5 people blessing me instead of 5 people cursing me. And I felt good because all I did was share the love. So the fifth thing is spend time with people you love who inspire you and who see greatness in you. I notice when I'm around those people, oh my gosh, it's definitely self-love. When I wake up early and go practice with Tim. And when I get to spend time with you and your teacher Karen. Or I get to spend time with my family. Oh my gosh, it's such a self-love.
Nidnoy.
Oh, Nidnoy is, yes. She is, well, as she barked at us right now, but she's the embodiment of self-love.
Oh,
you know? Definitely. So I'll run through quick the 5 practices. Slow down, number 1. Number 2, take deeper breaths. Number 3, talk less, listen more. Number 4, be more compassionate to yourself and to others. Number 5, spend time with people you love, who inspire you, and who see greatness in you.
Very good.
So maybe we can share, we were talking so much about the importance of meditation. Maybe you can share your teacher's meditation, the meditation she just shared with us.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was beautiful.
So my teacher, Karen, she's a coach, wonderful, wonderful coach and a Kundalini teacher. She will give me a technique of how to release yourself from those negative emotional baggage. So it's kind of like imagination, like visualization. So you would close your eyes, sit in meditation, and just ask your body of what it is that you feel and what are the triggering that you feel, and ask your body where you feel that emotions. Like, do you feel that in your stomach, or do you feel that in your heart? Like where it is in your body that it's not feeling very comfortable, like you're holding on to some sort of tensions or negative energy. And then once you find that in your body, imagine there's a tornado, right? Bring that to that area of the body that it's feeling uncomfortable. And imagine yourself standing on top of the tornado. And then you will jump down that tornado and come out from the bottom of the tornado. Once you come out, you will imagine yourself flying out in the open, infinite universe and just feeling free. And this will help you release like the blocks and the stagnant energies within you. Just let yourself fly for as long as you feel good in the universe. And it works for me just like that.
Karen said that doing this meditation is like doing years and years of Kundalini practice all at once.
Like if you do this for 1 hour, it can equal like 1 year of doing practice of like Kundalini.
Or more.
Yeah.
So I was driving back. I had to do something out in Vista, and I was driving back to Encinitas, and I had like this little anxiety cloud come over me. I didn't know what the heck it was. And this was the day after Karen gave us this meditation. So I asked myself, whoa, where is this? Where is this anxiety showing up in my body? And it showed my heart. My physical body said it's my heart. So I imagined there was a tornado coming from my heart all the way up. And then I literally just jumped into the tornado from the top all the way down. And once I got to the bottom, I imagined the infinite universe. Like I was in the middle of the galaxy in my heart. And it totally opened up. And I overcame whatever it was. And it happened really quickly. And so when I was with Karen, she had us do this maybe 3 to 5 different spaces and really got deep. So it was a powerful meditation that I really enjoy doing. It's really fast. It's really easy.
Yeah.
It's really easy. You don't need to sit there for hours and do it. You can do it in 5 minutes. You can do it in 1 minute.
Yeah.
But anytime you start to feel this anxiety, anytime you start to feel this weirdness, ask your body where it is. Imagine the tornado, jump in the tornado, and once you get to the bottom, connect to the infinite universe. That is
Yeah.
you. That is you.
Because everything is energetic. Like everything is energy. And that's one of the energy healing technique that it works for me. I've been using it for a while, and I feel like I have less and less triggering. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
And it's even something to use when you feel triggered. Big time.
Yeah.
And remember, like, triggers are not from anything the other person says or does. They're from ourselves.
Comes from
within.
yourself.
It comes from within. It's not the other person.
Yeah.
So before I start to go and blame and point fingers and say, oh, this person, that person, I ask myself, whoa, what is this trigger in me? Where does this come from? Where does this originate? So that takes us on to, like, lastly is we were just having dinner with Ronnie's first Kundalini teacher and
a friend, Peter.
And a great friend, awesome guy, Peter. And he's really into some shamanic practices that he does and teaches. And he actually just taught a workshop on self-love. So I asked him, I was like, whoa, so tell us, if you have to give us one tip on self-love, what do you do? And he says, I get with God in the mirror. And I was like, whoa, get with God in the mirror. That's a pretty heavy statement. So what he does is he looks at himself in the mirror and tries to see the divine in him. And he spends a few minutes first thing in the morning trying to connect with his own divine self, his true nature, his inner divinity.
He bowed down.
He bows down, puts his head on the floor
Right.
to where his heart is above his head. As we evolve into higher consciousness, we learn to lead with the heart and then follow with our mind. So bowing down with the head to the floor, our heart is above our head.
Yeah, and that's actually it helps with like your nervous system too. Every time when you do inversion,
Major.
yeah.
So when he comes back up, then he connects with his regal self. And I really thought that was beautiful, is what he was saying is like the royals or the regal people in ancient times were really the protectors of the people. And it got kind of twisted politically or historically, whatever it was. But originally the royals had a duty to protect the people. And I instantly got this idea is that really they're protectors of the truth, of the light within. So by connecting with your own self and honoring your inner divinity, you're protecting the truth within, protecting the truth in the world. And that's very beautiful. So my practice, when I look in the mirror, my meditation is I look, like a lot of times we do a meditation and you're looking at a candle in the center of the room, right? Well, when I look in the mirror, instead of looking at a flickering candle, I look at the light in my eye. And that light in my eye is almost like the point of the soul manifesting into reality. So I just focus on that point.
Beautiful. I like that meditation.
And then I lose myself in that. And definitely that's connecting to my inner divinity. And really go deep with that and spend a few minutes. And what a great way to start the day. And so if we start the day with self-love, what I've noticed since Ronnie taught me the importance of self-love, the more I love myself, I eventually come to love myself so much that I'm overflowing with this
love.
waterfall of love. And then I share love with everyone I go with. And all my interactions with people are ones of love. Even when someone comes to me and they're angry and they're stressed out, they end up leaving with love because I won't sacrifice that love or that inner feeling for anyone, for anything. It has to come first.
Yeah, reminded me of that lady that came to our yoga class last time and left with like, oh, your love and this love.
This is a great story. Like Ronnie was in teaching Kundalini and I was getting the harmonium, getting some other stuff out of the car, and this woman shows up and she said, Jayson, oh my God, the traffic. And she's like, the hurricane, the earthquake in Mexico. Oh my God, Trump. I know, Jay. And I was like, I said, you need to get in there And Ronnie was chanting the protection mantra at that moment. So and I was like, you need to get in there. And she's like, no, but wait, you can't tell me that. And I said, no, get in there. And she said again, no, but. And I said, no, not going to hear it. Get in there. And by the end of Ronnie's Kundalini class, she was glowing. And then I taught an Ashtanga yoga class in which she stayed for. And by the end of the class, she came and I signed a book for her. And she said, Jayson, all you are is love, and love connects all of us. And by the time she left the studio, she said, love, I love you, love, love, love. So
Full
really,
of love.
full of love. And all you are is love. And when you connect to that inner love, do what you have to cultivate that love so much so that you're overflowing. So that even when you come into contact with somebody who's totally fear-based and craziness, you have so much courage in the face of fear that all you can do together is rise in love. Love and fear are the same energy moving in the opposite directions.
I love
And
that.
what it takes to shift fear to love, now that's courage. That's real courage.
Yeah.
So be courageous in your spiritual practice. Be courageous in the face of fear so that you will love yourself first and foremost. And in doing so, you will learn to love the whole world. In doing so, we will change the world together.
Yeah, I love that. So we're going to close this podcast by encourage everyone to ask yourself of what can I do to love myself more deeply?
And it's beautiful. I guarantee whatever you come up with, the one thing you got to do to manifest this self-love practice is just to slow down. Be kind to yourself and do it. You deserve it.
And don't forget to love, love, love everyone. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
We'll love you. See you soon. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe to stay updated on new episodes. And remember to like or comment in the section below.
Thank you for tuning in, and let's stay inspired together.